There isn't a single school or coach on the planet that can say they've got as much recruiting momentum as the Florida Gators do right now. We're going to talk about it in this bonus episode of Locked On Gators.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to a special episode of Locked On Gators, where Florida has now gotten 2 commits today. It is Monday, June 19th, and Blue Chip Billy is striking again. Granted, to be fair, this time they weren't blue chip players because Marcus Mascoll and Michai Boireau are both listed as 3-star players right now, but they are both expected to be risers, or at least Marcus Mascoll is expected to be a riser as time goes on. 6'4.5", 292 pounds. Great athlete. I'm sorry, did you not see the shades before? Did you not? I can put them back on. I can rock them as long as you want. But the Florida Gators, there's not a single team, a single school, or a single coach on the planet that can even attempt to say, yeah, we've got as much recruiting momentum as the Florida Gators. The Florida Gators have picked up 6 commits in the past, 48 hours? This is ridiculous, unheard of, unparalleled. And it's insane to me because literally just a week ago, we were hearing so much of Florida Gators fans complaining about Billy Napier can get him on campus, but he can't seal the deal. Billy Napier can get him on campus. He can even get a commit, but he can't get them to shut down their recruitment. Billy Napier has gotten multiple commits on campus now because this week alone had Aaron Childs, Amir Jackson, Amaris Williams, Nasir Johnson. Those were all Saturday. And then today you've had Michai Boireau and Marcus Mascoll. So you've got the guys that were just on campus committed, most of them committed while they were on campus. And you even got some of the guys from Saturday to shut down their recruitment. This is I don't know what it is, but we need a pissed off Billy Napier all the time. Because that dude, Austin Simmons went to Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin started running his big dumb mouth. And then Billy Napier said, okay, you can have that one. But I'm taking everyone else. And that's kind of what's happened so far. It's also incredible to me to talk about this because Florida got 2 commits today, both from the state of Georgia. Florida got 4 commits on Saturday, 2 of them from the state of Georgia. So the Florida Gators currently have 15 commits for the 2024 class. 6 of them are from the state of Georgia, which is, by the way, 6 is the same number of commits that the University of Georgia has from the state of Georgia. Like, this is Florida just cleaning up right now. Like, it is incredible. And Florida is now, according to 24/7, the 5th ranked class in the nation. Georgia is first, which, duh, everyone expects that. Then you've got Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Florida. And Florida, not done. I will say this. My expectation is that at some point this week, maybe even today, Tawaski TJ Abrams, wide receiver currently committed to Florida State, will flip from Florida State to the Florida Gators. That is, an any day now kind of thing. It is how I'm feeling about it. I'm not going to say that I know for a fact that he's coming over, but Tawaski, is given the way he's been tweeting, given how his visit went, given how just everything has been working out lately, makes me feel pretty comfortable in saying that TJ Abrams will eventually be a Florida Gator commit. And here's the thing, once a kid is a even flip candidate, I'm like, okay, um, then we are talking about a National Signing Day battle. Okay? So that's what we're looking at now. Tawan said he's listening to both channels right now. Good job, man. Appreciate you. But the Florida Gators, like recruiting momentum here has never been greater. But it's just to me, and I said this yesterday, and I said this on Saturday, or I said this on this morning's show, and I said this on Saturday. It's just incredible to me the response from Billy Napier. Just that there was so much hate and doubt and animosity, and he just put on the shades and he's like, "Okay, we're gonna lock in." And then they've locked in, and it's not just locking in, it's locking in areas where you were bad previously. Look at the 2023 class. Didn't have a quarterback coming. You got DJ Lagway set up. But you know what? Actually, even then, let's talk just this weekend. You look at who they brought in just this weekend. It's Aaron Childs, linebacker. Amir Jackson, tight end. Amaris Williams, defensive lineman. Nasir Johnson, defensive lineman. Michai Boireau, defensive lineman. Marcus Mascoll, offensive tackle. You can make the argument that in 2023, Florida brought in, while they did bring in a lot of defensive front four players, they didn't bring in a ton of guys that are like, okay, nose tackle, three tech. They brought in a lot of guys who could play the 3 tech and the 5, and the 5 and the jack. They did not bring in a lot of players that can play the nose and the 3. Nasir Johnson, 6'4" and a half, 300 pounds, nose tackle. You look at Michai Boireau, 6'5", 370 pounds, nose tackle. Okay, like you're immediately adding that. Amaris Williams, 6'3", 270. He's going to be more of that 5 jack role by when it's all said and done, I think. So there's your answer there. You didn't bring in a ton of interior help during the actual 2023 cycle. 2024 comes around this weekend, and you've got 2 good nose tackles that you're in on. Offensive line. Didn't bring in a ton of offensive line talent. Your best offensive lineman from 2023 on the interior, Marcus Mascoll commits. Marcus Mascoll committing here, like he's ranked right now according to 24/7 Composite, 669th nationally, 51st offensive tackle, 82nd in the state. It's important to note that Marcus Mascoll is not someone who there's kind of this unanimous opinion on, because even on three is pretty different there, where on three has him as the 28th offensive tackle in the country and 41st player in the state of Georgia. So things are obviously vastly different there. But Marcus Mascoll is thought of as someone who 6'5", 290 athlete. It's going to be someone who is raw right now, but has plenty of time to develop an insanely high ceiling. And those are the kinds of players that these Florida Gators coaches want to bring in along the offensive line. Michai Boireau at 6'5", 370. Going to be nose tackle. We know that Sean Spencer brought in another big body on the defensive line. Tawan Mascoll is listed on 24/7 as 6'4" and a half. He's listed on three as 6'4" and a half. Maybe he was previously listed at 6'7" and they got a verified height. That might be it. We are about to talk about just the rest of this class. I'll look through the whole chat and we'll talk there. But first, it is important for me to tell you today's episode of Locked On Gators is brought by FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. And I've been saying this for a long time. I wish we could bet on where recruits will commit and where teams will end up in the class or anything. Never gonna happen, but it'd be really cool if it did. But new customers get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Safe, secure, super easy to use. You can bet on everything from baseball run line, money line. You can bet on home runs. You can bet on international soccer. I've been betting on whatever is happening in European soccer. I don't know. I just bet on Lithuania the other day. That's but it did. And it worked, so yay. But don't miss the chance to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 back in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/locked on. That's FanDuel.com/locked on to learn more. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day, although not your first listen of the day because, well, it's 1:30 p.m. as opposed to the usual 3 a.m. audio, 8 a.m. YouTube release. But man, it's been a great day for the Florida Gators once again. And I'm going to go through the chat now. We'll talk about these things. But I mean, Zach Fink with the shades. Come on, with the shades. You got where are the shades? Where are the shades? Where are the Nape shades? There we go. We got the shades on because this is what we do when Florida beats down the entire nation in recruiting over this weekend. So that's what they're doing. And also, I want to make it important. I want to make the note here. These are not players. Do not let Georgia fans, do not let Miami fans, do not let Florida State fans tell you Georgia wasn't pursuing these kids because Georgia brought in it was Jordan Davis and Devonta White to talk to Michai Boireau and convince him to come to Georgia. Guess what, though? Didn't work. Nope. He's a Florida Gator. Vic, LFG, I wish you could say it audibly. Bucha Billy, walking the streets. Dave just said Brian Smith just said some whack stuff about our class. I don't think Brian said something bad about our class, but hey, he might have. No clue. So yeah, I know Brandon Walker is a Barstool guy that Dave's been talking about, but no clue. To be fair, last time Brian was here, class wasn't nearly as good as it currently is. What do we do about our QB commits deciding to not sign with his stupid NIL deal? Well, one QB commit got a scholarship pulled last year. One stupid NIL deal, but even then, the NIL deal was canceled weeks before signing, and then he signed anyway, and then decided to back out. And Austin Simmons, there a lot went into it. Simple as that. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah, we'll say that. UGA troll. I'm familiar with Bryant. Okay, there we go. That's what it is. Okay, so it's Georgia troll named Ryan Smith. Thank you. Got it. Okay, I was about to fight Brian because I'm supposed to record with him for a little bit. So I was about to fight him. Ava said, "Chomp chomp, baby, chomp chomp." That's all I'm saying. Stephen Blackwell, what's up, baby? I'm just saying, like, I might be mistaken, but Dave sounded like he said Brian. But I gotta rewind after the show. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. You can cuss once and it's still PG-13. It's not a matter of being PG-13. We got sponsors, baby. We can't just say whatever we want. But this Florida Gators recruiting class is nothing short of just awesome right now. Like 15 commits here. First off, where we were a week ago, nobody thought Florida would be at 15 already. Especially when we've been hearing and we've been told and we've said Florida's maybe gonna take 22, maybe in the entire class. It'll be at 15 already, with still a few guys that we're expecting to either flip or commit to the Florida Gators soon. Is just nothing short of remarkable for a staff that has been just bashed relentlessly publicly. But now things have settled here. This class is incredible. You got your quarterback. You've got your entire linebacking room with 3 linebackers. You've got a safety in Xavier Fieldsmith. You've got your tight end in Amir Jackson. You've got a defensive lineman in Amaris Williams, a defensive lineman in Nasir Johnson, a defensive lineman in Michai Boireau. Like you've added to the defensive line group immensely. You've only got 1 receiver. You've only got 1 running back. You have your second safety with Josiah Davis. You have 3 offensive linemen in Marcus Mascoll, Mike Williams, and Noel Portenjagen. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. I apologize if it's not. But I mean, right now it's like, okay, pass catchers, DBs, offensive line, another 1 or 2 offensive linemen, and that's kind of it. Especially when you consider Florida's probably taking 22-ish kids this cycle. You consider there's maybe 7 spots left. You know you're going to get at least 2 more pass catchers, at least 2 more wide receivers. You're talking to other tight ends still. You still need offensive line. You still need DBs. This is something where pickings are getting slim. And I know that someone in the Locked On Gators Discord, which links in the description below, mentioned that Chris Jones got a crystal ball to Michigan State. Not surprising because, like I said, I don't know if Chris Jones still has a committable offer. And I know someone came at me in the comments for this morning when I said that. That's not me saying Chris Jones shouldn't have a committable offer. That's me saying I don't know if Chris Jones does still have a committable offer for the Florida Gators. Just because they've added so much at linebacker, they've got some solid momentum with Demonte Waller. Maybe they're just like, hey, we're taking Waller or we're not taking another tight end. We're good with or not taking another linebacker. We're good with our 3. So maybe that's the approach to it here, but I don't know. I just know that right now I am incredibly excited. Gonna look through the chat one last time and then get through it. Great to be a Florida Gator. Love the shades. Love you, Larry. This is putting the whole league on notice. There. Do we need more running backs? We have a pretty solid running back room. Here's the thing with running backs. Because we'll talk about this. With running backs, you've got right now, Kenneth Daniels is committed. You have on your team Montrell Johnson, Trevor Etienne, Trayon Webb, Cameron Carroll, and Jacoby Jackson. Cameron Carroll, I believe, has this year maybe one more year of eligibility, but I believe it's just this year, so he'll be on. Montrell Johnson could go to the NFL this year if you want. Trevor Etienne could go to the NFL not this year, but after next year. So when your 2024 guys are true freshmen, could be Trevor Etienne's last year. Trayon Webb, going to be part of this running back room eventually, yes, but there's really not much for 2024 and beyond that for the Florida Gators running back room right now. So I'm expecting a second running back to at least be in the discussion. Still a chance on Jared Gibson. I don't think Florida's attempting to get into that. From my understanding, it's going to be a bidding war, and Florida's not going to get into that. We know that. So I think that's my stance on Jared Gibson. We leave for Zay Mincy and Kendall Jackson. That's my feel of things, is leading on Zay Mincy, Kendall Jackson, leading on TJ Abrams, leading on Chance Robinson. There's a few more guys, too, that could all be Florida Gators sooner rather than later, which is going to be just incredibly dope to see. Like, there's just no other way around it other than, yeah, it's awesome. Florida's also leading for Teddy Foster right now, who is expected to commit anytime soon. So this is just, there's a lot going on here, and Florida's trying to make some room here and trying to make it in. But man, it's awesome. Who'd you take right now out of all our targets and receivers? JoJo. Florida's not landing JoJo Trader. They're not trying to very much. So Josiah Trader, not going to be a Florida Gator. Jeremiah Smith, they're pushing, they're building momentum. Like they've made an impression. Jeremiah Smith even said in an interview, he was like, I think he said Georgia wants him, and he was just like, if it's not Ohio State, like, so it's awesome. I am going to go record with Brian Smith a little bit later, but just know that I'm going to record Brian Smith later. He's going to be on the show tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me for this live on Monday at 1:41 p.m. right now. I appreciate you so much. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olson. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work at Whole Nine Sports, Giants Country, NFL 33. And I will see you all tomorrow, unless there's big news tonight, which maybe.